But a couple of years ago, my first Christmas break in 2022, I had spent hours packing my bag. I didn't want to leave anything behind, and I was intentional about having it all together so I didn't have to buy anything when I got to where I was going. I walked up to the Delta counter. I put my bag on the scale to be weighed, and the screen started blinking. The man told me, my brother, your bag is overweight. He asked me, he said, sir, is there anything in the bag you can take out, throw out, or leave behind? I replied, I said, brother, I spent hours packing this bag. I spent hours. And now you want me to open up and leave behind what I organized? He told me, he said, open your bag. I think he could tell I was young, so he talked to me like I was a shy. He said, open the bag. Very frustrated, I opened the bag. He took out a big bottle of lotion. He took out my distilled water and a few other things out the bag. He looked at me and he said, don't pay more now to keep something you can get a better version of when you get to where you're going. In other words, he said, you're going to end up hurting yourself clinging to unnecessary things that only weigh you down and hold you back. And y'all, I'm getting ready to go. But there's somebody here now. You've been holding on to some stuff for too long. You know what it feels like to be in the middle of a storm. Your testimony might be the road has been rough. Your testimony might be the going has been tough. Great grandmama would say the hill a little hard to climb, but one of the reasons is because you're attached to the things that don't serve you any good. And I came to tell you, you got to leave it behind. Just because they started with you doesn't mean they're going to finish with you. Just because they started with you doesn't mean you can't leave them behind. Just because you brought it with you doesn't mean you got to carry it to your destination. Turn to your neighbor, tell them leave. You got to know what to leave behind. And you ought to ask yourself, is the cost of this attachment worth the damage I'll have to deal with? All because I don't know how to leave it behind. Look at your neighbor, tell them leave it behind. I came to encourage you to stop holding on to stuff that isn't for you, because you don't want to wait until God sends what's assigned to you. You didn't hear what I said. I said stop holding on to stuff that isn't for you, because you don't want to wait for God to send what's assigned to you. That toxic relationship, leave it behind. Come on, let's ride. Toxic friendships, leave it behind. Negative mindsets, leave it behind. Past regrets, leave it behind. Comparison, leave it behind. Guilt, leave it behind. Caring what others think about you, leave it behind. Questioning who you are, leave it behind. And after you leave it behind, it may be hard, it may be tricky, but you ought to remind yourself, if God be for me, who can be against me? God will be with you every step of the way. And you know how I know? Because of a man named Jesus. Come on, y'all know about this. I gotta talk about Jesus. Do you know my Jesus? He was on the cross. He was in the middle of salvation and suffering, persecution, and paradise. He didn't have many mistakes because he was perfect. says, my God, why have you forsaken me? Jesus also knew what to leave behind while he was on the cross, because he tells Mary, that is your son, and he tells John, that is your mother. Jesus understood that your love for someone can't get in the way of God's assignment for your life. I said Jesus knew that the love for someone can't get in the way of God's assignment for your life. He stayed close to God, left stuff behind. They tell him they hung him high, stretched him wide. He hung his head. For me he died, but early Sunday morning he got up with all power in his hand, and God's power will keep you when you gotta leave stuff behind. Say yeah, yeah, yeah. And you know what your testimony will be when you make it out and you've left some stuff behind. Your testimony will be, I was down, but I'm still here. I was broken, but I'm still here. They left me alone, but I'm still here. And I'm making it because of the grace of God. Shout yeah. You gotta learn to manage the middle. That's the hardest place of the storm, because it's when your decisions could dictate the trajectory of your future. When you learn to manage your middle, your testimony will be, I am still here. And it's by the grace of God. Your testimony will be, I am still here. And it's by the grace of God. Come on, can anybody just wave your hand and just tell yourself,